Welcome to Sports and Songs, episode number 38. Today is September 4th, 2020, Labor Day weekend, special Friday evening show. I'm your co-host, Dan, along with Andy. Andy, how are you doing this Friday evening?
Pretty good.
Good. Labor Day weekend is here. Lots of sports to cover, lots of things to go over. Pro sports, college, high school, amateur, a lot of musical updates, and our album of the week in review. Once again, this is episode 38. Scrolling on the bottom on the crawl is another way to reach us as well. On Facebook, we've got a group there. Also on Instagram. How many followers on Instagram? Are we at the 500 mark yet?
No, we're like at 438 right now. Every now and then, one of us can put a video or two out and go tweet on Instagram. So usually see those tagged on the end of YouTube. We try to put something out there every now and then. We'll update, breaking news type stuff.
Awesome. All right, that sounds good. Well, let's get started then. I've got some images here to bring up as we talk about the latest in sports, but you can go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, we'll start with the playoffs. Stuff is all starting on NASCAR playoffs will start next week. Saturday or Sunday at 5 o'clock Minnesota time here. Cookout Southern 500 in Darlington. NASCAR has a race race to the finals now. After 16 drivers in, qualified by points or by winning, which they've done. In the field in Narrowstown, there's 10 races. Other drivers are still in. It's not just these 10. It's still play spoiler in there. So it's kind of, they're really starting to get the NASCAR now. Is the time to watch. It's kind of fun. But Cookout Southern 500 Sunday at 5 o'clock on NBCSN. No idea what channel it is on your cables. You have to look for it. But it's worth a look. Darlington Speedway's 500. So it's 367 laps. After 501.3 miles. But it sounds stupid to say so we could count 501.3. So they say 500.
Awesome.
That's this Sunday. High school sports. Covered earlier, Lester Prairie's Marissa Red has said she's going to be going to Northern State University in Aberdeen. She was a basketball player at Lester Prairie. She will continue her career there, so congratulations to her for getting the scholarship and going there.
Yeah, there it is. I've got that pulled up.
Local kids, we always kind of follow them in Mexico when they go to college, or the basketball season starts. Where that's going to be, we'll see how she's going to follow her progress, and good luck to her and the team down there. Speaking of college sports, we'll start with Gopher volleyball. A couple of girls, Lauren Gibbermeyer and Taylor Morgan, have both decided to play for what's called Athletes Unlimited. It's like a pro volleyball down in Nashville, Tennessee. And I heard a sixth player announced today from the Gopher alumni to be playing there. Not many players on many teams, but professional women's volleyball. Volleyball fans, look it up. AU Pro Volleyball is their link on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, and Instagram. And if you search Gopher Volleyball on Instagram, these players have their congratulations on going the outlinks to the league on there. Kind of fun to watch. This league also has women's softball too. So kind of a professional amateur softball. So it's kind of fun to watch for those interested in that. Speaking of Gopher baseball, on Wednesday, Gopher baseball team started practicing again. It's the first time the guys have been together since March 12th. So baseball practices are starting. Really good. We'll see how it goes. Very exciting news anyway here. Baseball is playing against Gophers. It's always fun to watch college Gopher hockey. 100 seasons. Some players want to bring back the old hockey helmet. The old logo on it. There you go. That looks like an old football helmet back in the day, but old hockey helmet. Might see that safety reasons, you might not have that exact helmet, but somewhere that would be kind of cool. I like it when you do the throwbacks for football helmet. And to see hockey get on board with that sometimes. Speaking of football, Rashad Bateman of the Gopher has announced that he's going to sit out this season because of COVID-19. A lot of players are doing it. Again, I'm not one here to say this, that, or the other on it. It's personal choice. I hope everything's okay. I hope it's not a hazard. That's what I see out. I hope he doesn't have a family member who's in danger of it. But yeah, it's good to do that and sit out. Hopefully he doesn't come too bad in the draft. Hopefully he still stays in shape. I don't know how the rules go for football. You can still practice with the team. I doubt if you're sitting out, you're not going to be with them. I don't know if groups of these guys are still to stay in shape to work out. But again, Rashad Bateman has decided to sit out the season and get ready for the 2021 draft. So good luck to him on that. Gopher basketball. A little bit of all these Gopher sports are in there today. It's a good week. We announced a while ago that transfer center Liam Robbins was going to transfer over, and boy has granted permission for him to start immediately. Sometimes players have to sit out, whether with COVID, delay, and everything else. Coach Richard Pitino has announced on Wednesday that he will be able to play. Was from Davenport, Iowa. He joined the Gophers in the summer. Played 2 seasons with Drake. Now they'll play the Gophers 2 years ago. So we'll go with that. So hopefully that helps and get the Gophers going back on track. Just get playing there. He's got 2 years of eligibility. Fine. Major League Baseball news. On September 1st, there's some notes about the Mets. Mets for sale, you know, A-Rod and J-Lo and their group, and Steve Cohen. There was reports that Cohen had got the rights to do the team, bid for it. They're about $2.35 billion for the team. I heard today though, as far as Snowbutt, you know, A-Rod came out on social media and so did J-Lo saying, "Oh, layup, blah blah blah." But then now they're coming back going, "Hey, wait a minute. We were told we put our final bid in earlier. We thought we had until August 31st. I don't know if they're going to try to rebid it again or not. I know I've heard Major League Baseball really wants A-Rod to own the team, except for this guy. We'll see. So is the deal done or not? But right now we're at $2.35 billion. I know I have about $8 right now to put towards that to buy the team, so I'm out of the race. Hopefully, whoever buys them puts money into the team and we get things going. So that's that. I know the Mets had a heartbreak news yesterday to Tom Seaver passing away. Cool tributes last night. I know we put them on our social media about what they did for that. Watch for our blog coming up this week. Be a special what can I write for on the career of Tom Seaver. Tom terrific, greatest Met pitcher, greatest Met player of all time. Ask anybody who's a Mets fan, I'll say it's Tom Seaver's. The Met player, number one all time. Mets Mount Rushmore is Tom Seaver, and 3 more pictures of Tom Seaver. That's just way it goes. Speaking of players who think they're great, Manny Ramirez. We were done with Manny. He left the Boston Red Sox. Well, the Blue Sox in Australian baseball have scooped up 12-time Major League All-Star Manny, or 12-time Major League All-Star Manny Ramirez. He's a 48-year-old, signed a 1-year deal. So we played now 1 year in Australia. We've been covering Australian baseball here. Oh, trust me, we'll still be following Mr. Manny Ramirez down there, see how that goes. I don't know if the play to get back in the majors, he's trying to prove himself again. If that's hey, look what I did in Australia. Who knows? But hopefully he takes it seriously. It'll be kind of fun to watch Manny down there. Speaking of other players, NFL. A little NFL news here. London Fletcher of the Washington Redskins, as the talk has come up about him going to the Hall of Fame. And which got me thinking, when he goes played, or is he going as a Washington football team player or whatever name they changed to? I mean, you play for a team. Earl Campbell played for the says he's Oilers. So if someone like London Fletcher goes in, we'll still say Washington Redskins. I think they're going to change players in there from the Redskins to whatever their name is. So kind of curious, kind of keep an eye on that, see how they handle it. I think it's real funny how the Redskins haven't come up with a new name yet. Football starts Thursday. They're the Washington football team. I'm like a startup league or something like that. Oh, the Washington football team. No one's going to take you seriously with that. They got to come up with a name, I think. This is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think what they agreed to do Andy was for this year only just play without a nickname, and then have the year to come up with a nickname and a logo for 2021 season is what I understood. Well, team this whole season is what I believe.
It's going to be curious at the 50-yard line for the home game. If you have their R logo or the NFL logo or nothing, I'm kind of curious to see what they do with that too.
You know, I'm guessing it'll be just the NFL logo or nothing at all. But you're right, as far as the end zones, end zones also, what will that be?
Washington, probably say Washington.
Yep. Could be that.
And Dan Snyder, you might know for advertising too.
That could be the case.
Good luck to that. Getting back to baseball, there's some trades at the trade deadline. Twins made none. Dodgers made none. Yankees made none. Mets did make some trades. One of the big trades they got back is already kind of panning out. They have Todd Frazier back for players we need later. Todd Frazier's not going to do a lot on the bases with the team. He's not going to do a lot of bad stuff with the team. He's a great clubhouse guy. He's a great bench guy to have around. So I think that's going to help to get a team. I think they make the playoffs by adding Todd Frazier. If they do, it's because of what he does at the clubhouse and on the bench, not what Todd Frazier does on the field. No rip on Todd Frazier as an athlete. That's just the kind of guy he is. Nice guy, lightens it up in the mood. We'll see how that goes. The Mets also got a couple other players, Rangers for players being later. And with the Orioles, they did give up Kevin Smith at the Mets number 12 prospect and a player being later. So lots of players being later. These different rosters with the pandemic right now. Very curious how that's all going to work for minor leaguers later. So we'll have to watch this off-season spring training, certain guys. Hopefully the Orioles are not that smart. You really the contracts to them, any contract here, this whole contract. So we'll see how that happens. All right. Former Gopher baseball player and first team All-American in 2018 Minneapolis Regional MVP, Brandon Barva. He is headed back to the Orioles. We'll send that there. So good luck to him. Going back in his career for baseball, we'll hear that name and see him come back up again. Padres did make some big changes in the trade deadline. Padres are being real impressive this year. They picked up Iberger and Allen and third and later for the Indians. There was some weight there. The Padres are really surprising me this year. I knew they'd be contenders. I hope they're not on all the gas right now and they come to the playoffs. And then as I went after some pitching to be safe. Fernando Tatis Jr. doing awesome. Again, hope he's not a flash in the pan. Hope he can keep this type of stuff up. It's fun watching him play. Kind of Pete Rose-esque, meaning he's always going 110% all the time. That's fun to see. You don't see a lot of that players anymore, so it's kind of cool to see. Also, hockey playoffs are going right now. NHL stuff. With the empty arenas, I guess, blue camera angles on the PC. And these NHL playoff games, they're awesome. That's the one sport I really look forward to the playoffs for much. Is hockey. When you get down to the final four teams here, the hockey pucks, they remember me. No, that guy's good, this guy not. Might have a guest on in the next week or two as we get closer to hockey Stanley Cup Finals about that. But a couple games today, a couple game sevens today, which is must-see TV for hockey, in my opinion. This next couple weeks, you want to watch it, now is the time to watch. Basketball, it's kind of like hockey. If both teams for the second round are done, they can start their second round when the first round's going on. Very confusing for the casual family. But again, as they get close to their finals, well, we'll get the data on that too. But hockey's getting there. That's looking good for me. Do you have anything, Dan, for I know you covered the amateur baseball this week. last couple of weeks.
Well, what I've done is I've done a YouTube video, a preview of the Class C sports State Amateur Baseball Tournament, and so Class A is done. B will be wrapping up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then Class C will start with a couple of games tonight, a whole slate on Saturday, another full Final Four Elite 8 round on Sunday, and then the championship game is on Labor Day. And so,
And just one more time, who won that Class A again one more time?
we got the program here of the Class C. Minneapolis Millers won the Class A. Minnetonka. Sorry, Minnetonka.
Yeah.
So Minnetonka won, and it was the Minneapolis Cobras the last year, but they had a rematch this year. The two teams played again, and Minnetonka won. So I'll be giving some coverage updates. Follow our page on Facebook because starting tonight and all day tomorrow and Sunday, I will be posting individual scores, and some notes. And so follow those. I'll try to create a thread for Class C and a thread for Class B, and then I'll just post all the various comments below there so I don't muddy up the page on our Facebook page. But first ball game tonight is 7:30 p.m. down in Milroy and 7:30 p.m. in Springfield. But that's all I've got for that. This is a fun time of year for amateur baseball, and then we'll be covering on next week's show is more of the fall sports, high school fall sports. The soccer. I know football's been pushed back, but I'll be covering a lot of that other types of sports.
Put a link on the Facebook page that they got there too for watching these games for baseball online.
Yeah, all the games are going to be online, televised because of the COVID. They are only allowing these games to be played with a maximum of 250 fans in the crowd. So they're really giving the tickets $125 a piece to the home and the visiting team, a max of 250. And so it'll prevent a lot of people from coming and watching the games live in person. So what they're doing is broadcasting them, televising them actually, and they're using that Channel 45 broadcast Prep Sports network that does high school only sports, the Prep Bowl, state basketball tournaments, things like that, where they've got that televised. They worked out an agreement with them, and that same group is televising. Basically, they've got I think a staff of two at each location, one doing the audio, one doing the video, and so it's very bare bones basic, but you can get the play-by-play logging into that service of all the games, and you can switch back and forth during the games when there's multiple games going on at the same time. And once you purchase that game or the package, you can go back then and watch them later on, or fast forward to a good spot, or to something important that happened. You can go back and re-watch those games. You own that broadcast then. So it's pretty neat to be able to do that. A lot of the games are covered locally on local AM radio channels as well. So that's all I've got for that.
So look forward, look up your team on their team page. I'm sure they got some other team page has information where you can follow them.
Yeah, a lot of the teams also have their own
Yeah, that's what I got.
Twitter account as well. A lot of the baseball teams, if you don't know where to find them or you want to get updates, you can get them on their Twitter. Most baseball teams have their own Twitter page and Facebook page. But we're down to 16 teams in C, and we're down to 4 teams in Class B. So there's really 20 teams left playing right now, and by Labor Day, Monday, they'll be all done. So it's a fun weekend.
Yeah, all I got left is this week in sports history.
Perfect. Let's do that.
History starting August.
Yeah, let's start off that. That'd be good. I'll bring up some of the images here as we go.
All right, here we go. Starting August 31st, 1990. Baseball, it was Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. become the first father and son to play on the same team. They both played for the Mariners. The pair would end up being back-to-back singles for the first time they both scored. They played together for a couple of years, and there was a time where they hit back-to-back home runs too. So 1991, Houston quarterback David Quinn. Cougars father of Louisiana Tech 73. That was the beginning of the Houston college team kind of doing the run and shoot, offense, run up, score goal. And of course, other players already did squat in the NFL. College, they could run up, score. 1993, the Minnesota Twins beat the Minnesota Twins, and your other pinch hitters, so gotta be real interesting in that block. 1999, Tino Cicerelli, former Norse, retired from the NHL. Tino played here, Red Wings and the Capitals under his first career. And a decent career. Overall, the guy I thought was a player. Born 1935, Frank Robbins. 1977, WWE. Her birthday also 1979. September 1st, 1906, New York Highlanders win their 6th all 3 straight doubleheaders. Kind of like with pandemic baseball right now, with doubleheaders all the time. The 3 straight doubleheaders are that. And just Jerry Rice caught 17 passes, 294 yards, 5 teams. 1985, Bill Elliott claims a $1 million bonus for winning 3 of the 4 crown jewel races of the NASCAR schedule that year. The Daytona 500, 2007, one of the biggest upsets in college football history. Now, watching this game was awesome. Michigan was awesome. 109,219 fans saw Appalachian State's Corey Lynch block a 37-yard field goal attempt with 6 seconds remaining. Give them a 34-32 win over Michigan. And big games in schools like Michigan have the little team come up. Even if Michigan would have won in that last second field goal, you needed a last second field goal to be a team. Thought you could crush. Now that team ends up. That's awesome. Then we did it a couple of years ago. They went on to Kansas State, and it was just maybe a few years ago because I think it was Carson Wentz was the quarterback then. But they've done that for Kansas State. They went to Iowa. It's fun to watch those games. 2019, Houston Astros starter Justin Verlander strikes out 14. He throws his third career no-hitter and 2-0 win over the Blue Jays. Birthdays for September 1st. 1923, Rocky Marciano, undefeated boxing champ from 52 to 56, was born in Massachusetts. 1964, Brian Bellows, former North Star, played 3-time All-Star, 84, 88, and 92. He was born in Ontario, Canada. Brian Bellows was North Stars. September 2nd, 1965, Cubs slugger Ernie Banks hits his Major League Baseball, or his 400th career home run off Kurt Simmons. Chicago's 5-3 win over St. Louis at Wrigley Field. Simmons also gave up Willie Mays' 400th home run in 1963. 2 great players, both made 400 home runs, both on the same pitch a few years apart. So pretty interesting. Hate to be that pitcher. That don't have new career history. 1990, Toronto's Dave Steeds throws his record. Throws the league's record ninth no-hitter for the season. Not Dave Steeds. The league had 9 that season. The they won 3 after. Birthdays for that day. 1901, Sport Cook. Stuff on there. Rupp Arena. A lot of history. Look up the Elf Rupp. Not just political on it. But a good coach at the time, or 1901, passed away in 1970. They outmade Kentucky basketball very prominent at the time. 1937, Peter Uberoff, former Major League Baseball commissioner from 84 to 89. Also, was the organizer for the 84 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, too. Was born this day in 1957. 1948, Gary Bradshaw, quarterback for the Steelers. See a lot of football, announcing pregame shows on Fox. Country album at one time. Terry Bradshaw was born in 1948. 1960, one of the greatest running backs ever, Irv Dickerson. Birthday. Diego Sickles. His record, 2,105 yards. 1984 Pro Bowl. Rams, Warren Texas. He was also part of some college shenanigans. Career kind of shady out of college, but who hasn't? 1963, Sam Mitchell, former Timberwolf, played for the Indiana Pacers. Did some coaching in the NBA. Sam Mitchell, birthday 1963. Look for Sam coaching again in the NBA. September 3rd. 1965. Perry moved to Anaheim. The Los Angeles Angels changed their name to the California Angels. Just now got back to Los Angeles Angels. Changed a couple times in between there. 1977. Japanese baseball superstar Sarahata O hits his 756th home run, past Hank Aaron as the all-time leader for baseball. It's kind of like Bill Strawberry. Now you see that on most power hitters like that. But you see that from the Japanese play back then in the hits. Yes, Japanese ballparks were a little smaller, but still, 756 is a great number. It's a great career. 1985. New York Mets catcher Gary Carter smashes 3 consecutive home runs in an 8-3 win over the Padres at Jack Murphy Stadium. 2001. In just his 11th start, St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Bud Smith hits the Padres 4-0. Birthdays, 1986. Shaun White, snowboarder, red-haired kid. You see him on the Olympics all the time. Got the gold in 06, 10, and 18. Born in San Diego, California. I also know, I think he's got the skateboarding thing a little bit. He's a good athlete. Snowboarding is that easy. Yeah. September 4th, 1950. NASCAR's first paved super speedway, the Darlington Raceway, hosts the Southern 500. First 500-mile event in NASCAR history. Johnny Nance was winner of that. I'm trying to put it. 1985. New York Mets catcher Gary Carter again. 2 home runs on a 9-2 win versus the Padres, the tie-breaking record for 5 home runs in 2 games. 1993, Yankees pitcher Jim Abbott hits Cleveland Indians 4-0 Stadium. Jim Abbott, one of the few athletes from Michigan I like. Jim Abbott went straight from college to the pros. Jim Abbott was more out a right hand. You watch him pitch. That's why. Great athlete, a great pitcher, don't get me wrong. If you're a hitter, you major league pitcher, great. But you not have a right hand. So if you ever watch him pitch again, it just shows that you don't let little things hold you back. 1994, Manny quarterback Dan Marino threw 5 touchdown passes in the Dolphins' 39-35 win over New England, setting an NFL record for his 18th game of 4 or more touchdown passes. 1995, Chicago White Sox third baseman Robin Ventura hits a grand slam in consecutive innings, or ends the inning, with a 14-3 rout for the Rangers. Birthdays on this day, 1968, Mike Piazza, American baseball player for the Dodgers, born in Pennsylvania. There we see him with his Italia shirt on. He is coaches in the World Baseball Classic and the Olympics. He is a coach for that team. I'm very proud of his heritage there. Piazza, some say the best catcher the Mets have ever had. I can agree. He's second best. Godchild, the twin to Tommy Lasorda, a Dodgers manager. That's how Piazza got in the league. Last round, hey, I'm going to pick my godchild. Look what happened. Not what you know, it's who you know in life. 1980, Pat Eshak, baseball player, born in Madison, Wisconsin. September 5th, 1955. Here's Don Newcomb. It's an National League pitching record, 7th home run of the season. And 1971 Astros pitcher J.R. Richard struck out 15 Giants in a 5-3 win. J.R. there he is, J.R. with Astros, and their number on their pants. 1994, San Francisco wide receiver Jerry Rice. Twice we brought up Jerry Rice today. Catches 2 touchdown passes and runs for another score as the 49ers win 44-14, runs over the Raiders. That helps. Those 3 touchdowns helped them surpass Jim Brown's record for touchdowns, 107. Birthdays for this day. Willie Gault, former NFL receiver for the Bears and the Raiders, was born in Griffin, Georgia. September 6, 1977. The Angels acquired Dave Kingman from the Padres for cash. Days later, the Yankees buy Kingman. Started the season with the Mets. That season, Dave Kingman played in all 4. There's only 4 divisions in tennis baseball: American League East and West, National League East and West. That season, Dave Kingman played in all 4 divisions on 4 different teams. There's the cards right there. Birthday is 1968. Pat Mears, Minnesota Twins infielder, was born in Kansas. Mears, decent ball player, good player. He's no Jeff Rebelay like that. Good ball player. And that does it for this week in sports history and birthdays.
Alrighty.
Music segment of the show for history and birthdays. August 31st, 2004. Green Day released the title track of their album, Birthday, a Signal. 3 weeks before the album is issued. The song and album are widely successful and highly acclaimed, which nominated for multiple Grammy Awards, winning Best Rock Album that year. American Idiot later became a successful stage musical. Weird Al did a parody of that song, Canadian. Birthday is 1970. Debbie Gibbs. There's a recent picture of Debbie right there with her dogs off the Instagram page. 1970. 1963. Keyboardist and pianist Larry Waddle of the Nation, born in St. Paul, Minnesota. He wrote the group's Certified Gold. What kind of man he liked? September 1st, 1984. Tina Turner completes her comeback as What's Love Got to Do with It? It's #1 in America. 2012. Jeff Tate, late of the band Queensryche, announces plans to get a new Queensryche together. Budget support from Lee Sarzo, formerly of Quiet Riot, Bob Balzer, formerly of Rat, and Glenn Drover of Megadeth, formerly of Kelly Gray and Randy Dean, formerly of Met. So he had this band all set up. There's still some question as to whether it actually be able to be called Queensryche, since Tate was still wrapped up in a lawsuit with 3 other members over there after they fired him that year to use the name. And it became 2. The Queensryche, they said no. Kind of like the docket thing we have asked. Bands, oh, we're going to cover it. You know, it was a name. You don't know. 1967, a young guitarist named Boz Skaggs joins the Steve Miller Band, a blues band led by his childhood friend, Steve Yep. 1936, country singer Conway Twitty is born. Happy birthday to Conway Twitty. Twitty City, kind of like Dollywood. September 2nd, 1995, Michael Jackson's You Are Not Alone becomes the first single to debut at #1 on the Hot 100. In the video, Michael and his wife repressing after it happens. There they are. Michael and Lisa. God, also, 1995, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opened in Cleveland. Opening ceremonies performed by Bob Dylan, Chuck Berry, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Little Richard, Al Green, Allman Brothers, Band, Booker T and the MGs, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, Hendrix, John Fogerty, Lou Reed, Iggy Pop, George Clinton, no relation to the former president, The Kings, John, Bruce Springsteen, The Animals, Eric Byrne, and Boz Scaggs. Birthdays: 1975, R&B soul singer Tony Thompson, lead singer of High Five, was born in Waco, Texas. So he was raised in Oklahoma City, or in Texas. That's straight. September 3rd, at Chamber Room, which Showcase 68, a talent show kind of like American Idol, but with professional acts. Sly and Family Stone. Kind of going on. Birthday is 1960, Harry Bella. Guitarist for The Cure, who was born in London, England. Also 1955, Steve Jones, guitarist for the Sex Pistols, were also born in London, England. 1948, Donald Brewer, drummer and co-lead singer of Grand Funk Railroad, born. So there's some iconic birthdays, some different brands in Korea. September 4th, 2002, Kelly Clarkson beats up Justin Girardi, becoming the first American Idol winner. Well, side note there on little Mr. Justin. Though he's found work since then. But toward this Kelly Clarkson's found. Justin wanted to get on his feet, he's doing okay. Probably never has the favorite Dr. Pepper anymore. He's doing okay. Birthday's 1980. Pop singer Don Miller. John Mellencamp married supermodel Ellen. Why? Why? Didn't work out for Billy. Didn't work out for David Bowie. Did you do better? 1989, Soundgarden released Louder Than Love, the first grunge album on a major label and recorded with B&M. Birthday is 1969. Rock guitarist Rizzo Zappa is born in Al Calvin Epplid Zappa in Los Angeles. His dad, Frank Zappa, of course. Wife, Gail. 1968, Brad Wilk, drummer of Rage Against the Machine, born in Portland, Oregon. 1946, rock drummer Buddy Miles of the Electric Flag and Jimi Hendrix Band from Gypsies, born George Allen Miles Jr., Omaha, Nebraska. Grandmother called him Buddy, jazz drummer. 1946, Queen frontman Freddie Mercury was born. Don't ask me to pronounce his real name, I'm not even going to try. We all saw the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. We all know Freddie Mercury's his real name, but we all know I ain't going to try to pronounce it. Freddie Mercury. September 6th, 1997, Elton John sings his version of Candle in the Wind. This rendition replaces Goodbye Norma Jean with Goodbye England Road. It becomes the best-selling single of all time. 1995, Joan Jett sings the national anthem before the Baltimore Orioles game against the California Angels. The game marks the Orioles shortstopers in 2,131st consecutive game. Orioles fan and Trent Ripken watches the rest of the game alongside a host of baseball legends, including Blue Jays and Greg Monty. I think it was Joan Jett we mentioned a while ago, always had to call Mike Tyson for a fight too because of a superstition Tyson had. Joan Jett, very into her sport. Get her on shows with that. 1988, New Kids on the Block released their breakout album, Hanging Tough. The LP goes #1 in America and spawns 5 singles, including the chart topping, title track, the #3 entry, You Got It, The Rain Song. 1968, Eric Clapton records the guitar solo for the Beatles, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. One of the best guitar solos ever. It's a great song. First of all, it's one of the best songs ever. The Beatles. Great solo. Clapton and the Beatles in the studio together. That sound check was their top 5 song. Birthday is 1944. Roger Waters, bassist and lead vocalist of Pink Floyd, is born. George Roger Waters. That, boys and girls, is what I got for this week in sports, music, history, and birthdays. Band album of the week, which we have in your super Walkman this week, sir.
Well, can you hear my audio now? Hello? Hello? Can you hear my audio? Hello? Can you hear me now, Andy? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How's that? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
There you are.
There we go.
There you are.
All right. Here's what I got for the album Osborne Blizzard of Oz here for episode 38. Blizzard of Oz was the debut studio album by British heavy metal vocalist Ozzy Osbourne. Released in September 1980 in the UK, will be 40 years old coming up end of September that this was released. It wasn't released in the US until March of 1981. The album was Osbourne's first release following his firing from Black Sabbath back in 1979. Blizzard of Oz is the first of 2 studio albums Osbourne recorded with guitarist Randy Rhoads prior to Rhoads' death in 1982. In 2017, this album was ranked 9th on Rolling Stone's list of 100 greatest metal albums of all time. Once again, released September 1980, the studio used was Ridge Farm Studio in Rusper, England. The genre, heavy metal, hard rock. Total length, 39 minutes, 31 seconds. The 2 singles released off of this album was, of course, Crazy Train, the one that's very popular now. Actually, in 1981, that hit #9 on the mainstream rock USA charts. And then Mr. Crowley, the song I played there at the beginning. I'm not sure if you heard it, I was cutting out or not, but the song Mr. Crowley, one of my favorites, hit number 46 on the UK singles chart. The album itself went 5 times platinum. It was 4 times for the longest time, but just in 2019, last year, it just hit 5 times platinum. Here's the personnel on the album. Ozzy Osbourne does lead vocals. Randy Rhoads, the phenomenal electric and classical guitarist on this album. Bob Daisley did the bass, and Lee Kerslake drums. Don Airy did the keyboards. Now here's the track listing. Song 1, I Don't Know. That's a very good one. Song 2, Crazy Train. I think everyone's heard that. Number 3, long song, Goodbye to Romance. Over 5.5 minutes. And that's followed up by the song D, an instrumental done by Randy Rhoads. That's only 50 seconds long. Then we get song 5, Suicide Solution. That had some controversy on that one. Song 6, Mr. Crowley. Song 7, No Bone Movies. Revelation, Mother Earth follows that. That's the longest song on the track. Longest track on the album, 6 minutes, 9 seconds. And then Steal Away the Night. Pretty quick album. Not even 40 minutes long. Suicide Solution did have its share of controversy, most notably in October 1984. The suicide of John McCollum really brought this to the spotlight. In fact, it's his parents that brought this to the spotlight. He was a depressed teenager who shot himself in the head allegedly after listening to the song Suicide Solution. The boy's parents sued Osbourne and CBS Records for encouraging self-destructive behavior in young persons who were especially, quote, susceptible to dangerous influences. And so in his defense, Osbourne stated in court that when the song was being written, the words, "Wine is fine, but whiskey's quicker," came to him suddenly, were a reflection not on the merits of suicide, but rather the death of AC/DC vocalist Bon Scott, a friend of Osbourne's, who recently died of alcohol-related misadventure. Now keep in mind, it was Bob Daisley, the bassist, who wrote the majority of the song's lyrics. He stated that actually it was Osbourne's own substance abuse issues that was in mind when he composed the song. The McCollum's complaint was dismissed on the grounds of the First Amendment protecting Osbourne's right to free artistic expression. And so that made a lot of news back in the day. This was 84, and I remember this myself, the claims were that Ozzy and this album here was promoting suicide. It was promoting it. It was doing this in the album, in the lyrics. Number 1, Bob Daisley wrote the lyrics. Number 2, they're talking about it as a solution. This had nothing to do with Ozzy. Ozzy just sang it. But Ozzy Osbourne back in these days were a lightning rod for criticism. So I think the parents of this teenager, an unfortunate situation, jumped on the fact that they could make a little money off this and do a lawsuit against CBS Records. Unfortunate as that is. But that's kind of what was going on back then. Ozzy was with Black Sabbath and then was fired, and then this was just a year later he put together this band and just called them Ozzy Osbourne. But good album. There's the album title there on the screen here. The album. He did have some strange things as far as the imagery and the lyrics, but once again, very good music on this. Much of the album was actually written by Randy Rhoads, bassist Bob Daisley, and Ozzy Osbourne in a live-in rehearsal facility in Monmouth, Wales, with a friend of Ozzy's named Barry performing as the group's drummer. He was never really considered a candidate to be the group's permanent drummer, and he was not involved with the songwriting process at all. But the band recorded demos of the songs I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Goodbye to Romance, and You Looking at Me, Looking at You in Birmingham in early 1980 with ex-Lone Star drummer Dixie Lee. The band had hoped that Lee would be a permanent member, but he wasn't the final piece of the puzzle, says bassist Daisley. After auditioning several drummers, ex-Uriah Heep member Lee Kerslake was hired as the band's permanent drummer and completed the lineup. They retreated to Gloucestershire for 6 days to rehearse and give Kerslake an opportunity to learn the new songs. A week later, they traveled to Ridge Farm Studio to commence the recording. The first track written for the album was Goodbye to Romance. Osbourne had stated that the song was his way of saying goodbye to his former band Black Sabbath, as he thought his career was over after leaving the band. After performing a show in Birmingham, the band hastily returned to Ridge Farm to remix Goodbye to Romance for a single. The next morning they were informed that their label, Jet Records, instead wanted a brand new song to release as a single. Rhodes, Daisley, and Kerslake quickly put together the song You Said It All, with drummer Kerslake performing the guide vocal at soundcheck, while a drunken Osborne slept under the drum riser. The song was ultimately never recorded, although a live version was released on Ozzy Osbourne Live EP in 1980. The final track written was No Bone Movies, which was originally intended to be used only as a B-side, but was added to the album in order to give Kerslake a writing credit, as all the other material had been written before he joined the band. Interesting move there. I was not aware of that. Keyboardist Don Airey claims that parts of Revelation Mother Earth, as well as the intro to Mr. Crowley, were written by him in the studio, although he never received writing credit for these contributions. The album was a commercial success, being certified 4 times platinum in the US, a feat Ozzy Osbourne would not achieve again until the release of No More Tears in 1991. Currently, the album has sold over 6 million copies to date worldwide, making it Osbourne's best-selling solo album. The UK was the first of 4 Osbourne albums to attain single certification, and he achieved that in August of 1981. It also ranks as 13th on the Guitar World Readers' Poll of 100 Greatest Guitar Albums of All Time. In his autobiography, Osbourne readily admitted at the time the album was being recorded, he felt he was in direct competition with his former band. They did do a re-release in 2002. They did a re-release of this in 2002 with some remastering and whatnot in the on the record. Andy, do you have anything else to share on this? I know you were a fan of some of this other hard rock music back in the day. Do you have anything to add, Andy? Well, we're wrapping up on the hour here, coming up on the broadcast. Once again, this is episode 38 for Sports and Songs podcast. Today is September 4th, 2020. We'll get this out there on the next episode on Anchor on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Anything else, Andy, to offer? Are you there?
Hello.
Can you hear me? I just wrapped up the Blizzard of Oz review, and we covered that. That was a 1980/1981 album, and I was just talking to the listeners now about the 2002 remix. They remixed that, and they brought in, I think it was Robert Trujillo on the bass to redo those songs for the 2002 release of that, and I wasn't familiar with that before. That was interesting to me now. But what we'll do is put this out there on Anchor, 9 o'clock Sunday morning. And do you have any closing words here, Andy?
How's the audio issues, Dan? You were saying? I apologize.
All right, sounds good. We will put this out there, and please leave your comments below. Thanks, and have a good weekend. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Are you there?
Nope.
Hello, are you there? We're done. We're done. Did you hear it? Can you hear me now?
Here at Sports and Songs, we use Anchor.fm as our platform for our podcasts. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. Number two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your own phone or computer. Number three, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Number four, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And number five, and finally, it's everything you need to make a great podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.fm.